Retired human lived alone for years, until 11 alien widows begged for shelter on his ranch, HFY story. Thomas Hale had long since stopped expecting company. He was 63, retired, and his ranch sat alone on the rolling plains of Montana. After his wife passed, after his children scattered across the stars with jobs on the colonies, Thomas kept to himself. Cattle, wheat, and the endless horizon were enough. Also, he told himself, until the night the sky burned. He was dozing by the fireplace when the alarm klaxon shrieked, a sound that wasn't from Earth. His old military instincts jolted him upright. He stumbled outside, rifle in hand, and saw streaks of flame cut across the stars. Ships, crashing. By dawn, 11 figures approached his ranch. They were tall, willowy, their features elegant but heavy with exhaustion. Each wore torn black garments, symbols of mourning etched across their skin. Their leader stepped forward, her eyes glowing faintly violet. "We are widows," she said in broken English. "Our husbands fell in the war. We have nowhere. Please, shelter." Thomas stared. 11 alien women, desperate, standing in the dust of his driveway. His first thought, this is to be a dream. His second, if I turn them away, they'll die out there. So he opened his door. Life changed overnight. The widows, who called themselves the Illyri, were unused to Earth's gravity, stumbling over the uneven soil. They knew nothing of cattle or wheat, and yet insisted on working. "Work heals grief," one said quietly, when Thomas tried to tell her to rest. They were strange, yes, singing to the soil before planting, weaving shimmering cloth from fibers Thomas couldn't identify, but their presence filled the ranch with life he hadn't felt in years. For the first time since his wife passing, the house rang with voices. The townsfolk whispered, of course. Old Man Hale took in a harem of aliens. They muttered at the feed store, probably up to something indecent. Thomas ignored them, let them talk. He knew the truth. These women weren't trophies. They were survivors. And he, for all his solitude, was the only fool stubborn enough to give them land, food, and a roof. Still, the whispers grew. Strangers began lurking near his ranch, curious or hostile. One evening, he caught 2 men in trucks, headlights pointed at the widow's quarters. They carried shotguns. "You can't just keep 'em," one sneered. "They are enemy stock. What happens when they turn on us?" Thomas leveled his old rifle at them without a word. His voice was steady, calm as a winter storm. "They've seen enough war," he said. "They are safe here. You want trouble, you'll find it, but not from them." The men left. The ranch remained quiet again. Over the weeks, something shifted. The widows began to smile. They learned Earth's rhythms, how to knead bread, how to mend fences, how to ride horses. They still sang to the soil, but now they laughed when Thomas teased them about it. One widow, Lysira, seemed to watch him more than the others. She often lingered at the porch in the evenings, sitting silently as he sipped coffee. Finally, one night, she asked, "Why you help us? Humans owe us nothing. Our husbands fought yours." Thomas stared into the dark horizon. "Because I know what it's like to lose someone," he said softly, "and I know what it's like to be left alone afterward. If I can spare you that, then maybe I can make peace with my own ghost." Lysira's hand brushed his, just for a moment, warm, alive. By spring, the ranch was transformed. The crops grew higher than ever, the cattle thrived, and the widows had carved gardens of alien blossoms that shimmered like starlight. And Thomas? He no longer ate meals in silence. He no longer woke to empty holes. He found himself laughing again, deep belly laughs he thought he'd buried with his wife. The loneliness had been exiled, but peace never lasts forever. Word reached the Galactic authority. 11 Illyri widows had vanished after the war. Their clans demanded return. Shuttles descended on Montana, soldiers disembarking with polished weapons. An officer sneered at Thomas. "These women are Illyri property. Step aside, human." Thomas stepped forward, rifle slung across his back, his weathered hands steady. "They are not property," he said. "They are people, and they've chosen to stay." The officer laughed. "You? An old farmer? You defy the authority." Behind Thomas, 11 widows stood in silence. Then, one by one, they stepped forward, surrounding him. Lysira's voice rang out clear. "We are not property. We are widows. And this is home." The officer faltered. The sight of 11 determined women, flanking one stubborn human, was more than his orders had prepared him for. After tense silence, the shuttles withdrew. For now, Earth was not worth the trouble. That night, the ranch glowed with firelight and song. The widows sang their mourning hymns, but this time, the notes turned bright, hopeful. Thomas listened, heart swelling. Lysira approached him quietly, her hand finding his again. "You gave us shelter," she whispered. "But more, you gave us life again." Thomas smiled, eyes glistening. "Guess you gave me the same." And for the first time in years, Thomas Hale realized he was no longer a man waiting for the end. He was part of something new. A family. HFY. Because sometimes, humanity's greatest strength isn't in war or conquest, but in offering shelter when no one else will.